You see me?
I do see you, yes.
Yes, and I see you. So we are on air live. Welcome, ladies and gents, for yet another great discussion and episode of the Essentialists with your truly Coach Michelson and the King Levi Mark Ward. Hello, sir.
Good morning. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good time of the day because we never know in what timeline you watch us. And
Yeah.
as promised in the last episode, we touched a little bit because it kind of we've came to this discussion of kettlebell sport specific shoes, belts, shack, and we decided that the appropriate way to finish, like not to finish, but to conclude, at least now, this discussion will be talking about competitions, or as we like to call them, events, because they are basically two different things, in my perspective, under the same roof. So without further ado, because we are not going to break a great habit, I am passing the mic to Sir Levi to expand on the subject.
Yeah. So competition or event has made a huge uh, impact on my training experiences. First of all, it just gives you focus. It gives you something, a timeline. It gives you some intention. It helps you stay, um, develop a strategy. It helps you stay on a path that can be very beneficial. Life is full of distractions, whether it be family or friends or work or whatever, and it's super easy to get pulled in one direction or another. And an event or a competition scheduled allows us to or helps us to stay on that training or exercising, depending on what your goals are. You don't even have to travel to compete. There's so many places anymore that offer an online um, version as well, and so you can compete at um, at your leisure, at your own gym or your house or whatever, your garage. Um, but that still gives you the opportunity to train towards a specific time and a specific goal. And that, in my opinion, is invaluable over the course. And then obviously you can change events each time, or you can train for the same thing each time. Obviously, with kettlebell sport, there is single bell events, there's double bell events, there's long events, there's short events, and so it really gives you no excuses where you are in your training um, experience. There's something for everyone out there. The way the sport is evolving, um, I typically recommend new people to start with the pentathlon, whether it's single bell because it's multi-switch, or double bell because they're just, and I say just, 3 minute sets. A 3 minute max effort set is never going to be easy. So um, don't be surprised when you get into that. But it's a lot more manageable to start with 3 minute sets and 6 minute multi switch sets than it is to jump into a 10 minute long cycle or 10-minute jerk set or a one switch snatch set, things like that, or a half marathon, which is 30 minutes, or marathon longer. So those are just some really quick thoughts off the top of my head. But if you, I'm sure we will get more into detail about, um, why a competition or an event. But that's where we'll start, I guess, and then I'll just follow from what you've got.
Yeah, thank you. So I'll continue, and yeah, we are going to talk about the preparations for the competitions too. So, all right. So there is like the huge difference between the event and the competition is your inner state. In competition, as in competition, you are coming to compete. Like Rambo style, knife in your teeth, you're crawling, killing everybody inside because you are going for the number. All right. And you are prioritizing it. Like if you're really going in the competition mode, This is the ego involved. You're ranking yourself. You're looking at the scores. You are aiming for a result. All right. And this self bullshit. Yeah, I just want to be better me. Fuck you. No, you don't. You want to goddamn compete. And you want to make every motherfucker near you bleed. All right. Because this is what competition is all about. And if you're not coming in this state, then you're basically participating in the event. All right. An event, it is for the event's sake. You are coming, first of all, to honor your sport, okay, and something that you do. You are coming to really finalize and wrap the preparation that you did. And yes, in the events, you are basically scaling yourself. You're saying, all right, this is basically like this is as close. This is the scientific method. Said, okay, I tried this mythology with this coach or with the same coach. We tried different approach. I gave it 12 weeks, 16 weeks. This is the result. All right, let's have conclusions. All right, what works, what's not, how have I managed it? So everything is an event. All right, but again, competition is you are going for the number, and prioritization, your lifestyle, everything changes if you really want to compete. All right, and second, as Levi said absolutely correctly, listen, it is a huge energy saver, a time saver, and it completely frees you from needing the motivation and the reason. Because the scary thing is to sign up, is to press this pay button, okay? Because the moment that you press the pay button, it's not about the money. It's like, uh-oh, I kind of need to do this stuff in 12 weeks or whatever. And then suddenly, magically, everything's fall in place. You suddenly have the time. You don't need to force yourself. You don't need to prime yourself and pump yourself. Like things like the workouts are happening and you are going, and the D-Day comes and there you are on a platform. Even if the online submission, basically, and this is amazing because like at some points, traveling is a major issue. Like with all due respect, I cannot fly out of Israel even if I had the money. All right, but online submission, I can have a beautiful calendar full of great events, and I have always something to prepare for, so I don't need to search. I don't need to like bust my head. What should I do? How should I do it? No, it is all done for me. And with a little expansion, you can, as Levi said, go hybrid. You can do one kettlebell, then you can do one run, then you can do one something, but you always have a date. So you always recycling yourself, you're expanding, you're working, you're doing this holistic overall workout, and it is amazing. And that's why events are crucial, okay, to sign up. The second part, we will talk in a sec. Now let's talk, all right, you've signed up for event, and how do you prepare the day before the event, okay, for the event itself, by the way, regardless if it's online or if it's a physical presence. So what do you say?
Well, you brought up a good point too, that, not only does it help streamline your training focus, giving you something to shoot for and the goals and numbers and all that kind of stuff. But I've found personally, and when I'm coaching other people, that it automatically encourages you to change your diet, to
Heck yeah.
Foster recovery and performance and things like that. And so a lot of people, like, the training is the easy part. It's easy to show up to the gym. It's easy. What's hard to do is to, stop cravings or to break old habits and to, eat how we should, eat to perform, eat to recover versus eat to satisfy cravings. And so part of that preparation then of the day before, or leading up to the event, nutrition is huge. And so when I am competing, and online is great. It's super convenient. You don't have to you don't step on the platform at 10 a.m. Maybe that's the goal, but you wake up that morning and you need a little bit more time to warm up, and you've got some freedom and flexibility and all that kind of stuff. And so online submissions are generally a little bit more relaxed. And so, but if I would encourage people that when you can to travel, again, it's not always affordable, it's not always convenient, but stepping on someone else's platform, it just makes the experience that much more real. You're able to learn more about yourself. About every time that I travel and compete, every time I compete, I learn something new. But when I travel, it's even more relevant, I guess, and it helps me to be a better coach because I can then share my experiences with my clients or people that I'm working with. So again, that preparation for stepping on the platform the next day or whatever, eating is a big thing. So whether I'm I want to eat foods that I'm familiar with, the same kinds of foods I've been eating in my training. I have made the mistake of not doing that and nearly paying for it on a platform. And so that was one of the things I took away from, traveling overseas. That's a big thing because it's completely different. Here in the States, I can basically find, what I'm familiar with. I know what's going to cost. I can plan ahead a little bit easier. But yeah, I want to make sure that I do my best to, I want to find out when I'm going ahead of time. So if I am going like first flight at 8, I normally train around my lunchtime. So, but if I'm going to start, if I'm going to compete, my flight goes at 8 a.m. I want to try to adjust my training calendar to, training when I'm at the same time I'm going to be competing. 4 hours would be a big difference for me. My body takes a while to warm up. Again, I want to try to sleep, have my sleep schedule be the same, wake up with enough time to warm up. I want to eat the same, the best I can. Try to normalize as possible. Try to eliminate distractions. There's enough stress, especially if you haven't done it before, or maybe you're going for a new rank or things like that, where things are going to be close. Some people say don't worry about when you step on a platform, like adrenaline takes over and you'll be fine. And there's other people like me that that's not the case. I do much better in practice than I do on the big stage. And so I'm super excited to perform well when it matters, instead of just in my gym. So there's a lot of things that I try to, there's so many things that are not controllable, so many variables that you just have to adjust to as they happen. So if I can control it, like going to bed on time, like eating well, like controlling my schedule the best that I can, those are the things I try to really do well with, because, the variables are going to happen no matter what.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you. And again, expanding on what you've said, nutrition-wise, it forces you to behave like an adult and respect your own body and respect your own process. And go to sleep and eat because you feel it. All right. And you kind of getting it for free because it comes with the event sign up. So as my nutritionist told me, said, listen, any event or competition, regardless, you need to treat it. It is another workout in a different environment. So we are coming just to do another workout. Now, it's far easier said than done, because as Levi said, you are excited and you're nervous, even if you submit online, as I have today, and you're still coming with this, like, all right, like it's the big day, it's the submission day, and like you're shooting your video, I can do my video tomorrow because I have 3 days to submit, but still, like, it's presence. In the live event, it will be even more, and it will be amped up more, but you will get excited. So the best rule is you change nothing. So if you are a noon person, and usually all the events happening in the morning, okay, and unless you are heavyweight and you know, like, and you've competed lots of time and you know that usually your divisions come out at noon. So if you're like light, moderate weight, you must at least, like, if not all the preparation, practice in the morning, because it takes time to readjust the body. And changing nothing, meaning you do not do stretching that you haven't done. You do not sleep twice as much as you usually slept. You don't need to suddenly, out of the blue, meditate, foam roll, or anything, because everything within your body, within your organism, and I'm talking again from my own experience, and I've seen these things happening, and I've seen coaches talk about it. You want for your body, for your physiology, to treat it as just another day, because this is what it used to. This is how it knows how to operate. You're changing variables, and your body, like, this is a gambling. This is like throwing dice when you're putting all your money on it. All right, you may respond well and like overshoot, or you can, because everything is new, you can fail miserably. All right, so often, like, you eat what you eat at the same times. If you used to go, like, I will just say another little thing about nutrition, but again, like, nothing, the same. You go, and in live events, shit happens, and it can be a little bit early, a little bit late. So, come, ask, but again, act accordingly. So you need the food first aid kit. If the start is pushed further, you need to replenish your calories. And with nutrition, what I found out, I usually practice on empty stomach, like almost fasted. But in the depth competition, if I eat some porridge, it does gives a little bit of energy, which is not interfering. You're kind of just feeling more, right, like hyped up a little bit. And this is something that can improve, right, or like push your performance up. All the little things, like, chucking your elbows, chucking your short. We talked about it the previous episode. On the D-Day, it helps tremendously psychologically wise, because I usually train without any accessories. I don't even wear sweatbands. But on the D-Day, if you're nervous, you don't need to meditate. You just apply chalk, you feel the elbow sticking, and you're automatically feeling like, yeah, right, like, I'm good, I'm on, right? That's it. And these small things are the big game changers, okay? So please, practice this the same state. Like Michael Phelps, famously, his routine was repeated over and over in practice. So his body reacted in the Olympics the way it reacted in every practice, because he did the same ritual to the letter. And what else? Oh, yes, traveling. If you travel, if you can, okay, please plan so all your traveling and exploration will be after the event. Because before the event, the temptations are too large, the food is too tasty, everything is different. And yeah, and because you've traveled and you've paid the money, and not always you have access to the bells. And this is something like, if you're flying overseas, you have not a week, but you have a pretty big gap between the sessions, and you need to understand how to taper that as well. Usually, your coach prescribes you something, because unless you're driving within the United States and you can throw a kettlebell in the trunk, you probably won't carry a kettlebell. Okay, so we'll see a kettlebell on the evening before the competition. All right, so these things need to be taken into consideration loading phases wise.
I've got, yeah. If I can interject here real quick, traveling overseas and wanting to see and experience another culture, talking about what you said, visiting and experiencing after the event, Yeah, I learned that the hard way. If you recall, when we went to Poland, I knew that Poland was going to be a once in a lifetime trip, and visiting, some sites would be, a must, while we're there. And I reached out to a few people that I knew on social media that that lived there, and we set up a trip to Auschwitz. And it was a 3-hour trip, there, and the tour, and 3 hours back, obviously. And we competed in the next day. And that was an emotional experience that you just can't prepare for. Like, you don't know until you experience it. On the way home, so there's that emotional, just exhaustion tied to that visit. And then on the way home, a 3-hour trip in a foreign country, driving on back roads with a vehicle I've just rented, and I hit a pothole and blew 2 tires. And I don't speak any Polish, and thank God for Google Translate, and the tow truck driver. But a 3-hour trip turned into a 6-hour trip, and to all of a sudden have to wake up the next morning and try to perform. I barely finished that set. It was something that, had I been smarter with my trip planning, a visit to Auschwitz after the fact would have been a lot smarter. I'm very glad I went. I'm very glad I experienced it. But yeah, that planning and strategy is something that's a mistake I won't make again. And then another brief story. I don't know if you recall this. This is all before COVID, so traveling and competing in person was basically our option. We didn't have a lot of online.
It was the only option
back
then.
And so in 2018, we went to Spain.
Yes.
And it was again a learning experience. And we were going to go to the Arnold Classic, which is in March. So March of 2019. So we competed in Spain in 2018, November 2018, and we were going to compete again in March of 2019. And I really struggle again in my gym. Awesome. On the platform in a new event, surrounded by, people coming in. And, something else is like when you're competing, it's not just like I can't control the environment around me like I can in a training set. And there's people coming in and out, and there's people on the loudspeaker. It's not my music. There's just all kinds of things that you're not necessarily used to. And so you had suggested to me that before I go to the Arnold, to try to change my environment. So what we did was, my gym, those of us that were going to compete, we did a fundraiser for the Special Olympics, the local Special Olympics chapter at the local mall. And so I brought a handful of kettlebells to the mall to offer some free kettlebell training and to kind of introduce people to kettlebells. And then we did a half marathon after that. So we did an hour training set of just answering questions and demonstration, and just, getting the community exposed to the sport of kettlebell lifting. And then we did a half marathon, half snatch after that. And so we're standing in the mall, talking about, distractions, and a bunch of people walking by and staring. And it was a very unique experience, but it was something that I think was very beneficial as well, because I was out of my comfort zone. I was in a brand new place. Now I was able to use my bells, and I was able to control the timing of everything, but it was certainly a unique experience that I think that, again, you're able to learn from. So my point is if you're constantly training in the same spot over and over and over, then all of a sudden you step on a platform, it's different. It's something that you'll need to be mentally ready for. And again, some people thrive in that environment where it's a new stimulus, and they're able to step up and perform as expected or better than expected. And then there's people like me that need as many repetitions in unfamiliar environments as possible. So,
yes.
But yeah, that was my 2 stories I wanted to share, personal experiences.
No, great, amazing. I remember, yeah, I remember Spain. I remember the mall. And actually, you've just reminded me our conversation about judging. And this is something we did not touch now.
Yeah.
You, listen, in competition, like, and again, even if it's an online, all right, it's like in life, there are judges and they are not against you. Like we can argue that somebody won't, but judges are human. They see, they judge, and you need to be ready. That's like you do a rep and it's not counted. And like you count everything when we lift, like, when we in training sense, like it's all well. But on a platform, first of all, we are not aware of ourselves because we can do and probably do like no counts. Like not each rep is crisp and perfect. And on a platform, you are counted. And this emotional disbalance, like, hey, like, man, like, what are you doing? I'm trying my best here. Like, why don't you? Right? You need to be prepared that maybe, just maybe, like, the clock won't move. You can't dispute it. You have a video, we record, like, everything is possible. But this is something you must be ready and take to consideration if you're going to the judge, and especially if you have, like, don't overthink and don't think for anybody else. If you have some like shoulder maybe limitation before the event, your flight, you say flight or fight? Fight, I believe, yeah?
Flight, FL.
Flight. So it's like, okay. So before your flight, you are coming to meet the judge. Okay, you shake hands, like, hi. And often he asks you to show the technique. If he's not or she not, you tell them, listen, I want to see, because this is my lockout. Because they don't know you. They do not read minds. All right, like this is I broke my shoulder, whatever. I am office worker, like this is my fixation, be it snatch, be it whatever. And he says, all right, got it. This is you. Okay, otherwise he can think that you are just, not finishing repetitions. And these things are happening too, because, like people come, whatever, just to have fun. So you need to take the judging into consideration as well. And I believe we've covered pretty much.
I want to add one thing.
Yeah, sure.
If you don't mind, before we wrap up. The adrenaline dump is real as well.
Oh yeah.
And so,
yes.
And obviously, the more you compete, the more you can manage that. But your first time on, your second time on, again, it's maybe you're meeting people that that you follow online, or you're with friends and family, and your training went fantastic, and you've got goals to hit, and you step on that platform, your adrenaline's going, and maybe your goal is to do 8 a minute long cycle, and before you know it, you've hit 9 or 10 reps that first minute, and you're like, oh, I'm feeling good, and pretty soon you hit 9 or 10 reps again that second minute, and then you're like, shit. And so it's one of those things where, like, if you've been training to hit 8 a minute, follow that clock, follow your pacing, follow your strategy. There's a reason you did what you did in training, because you get 3-4 minutes into a set. If you go too fast, if you're not prepared for that adrenaline, it's far better to start conservative and to finish fast than it is to start fast and not finish. And again, made that mistake. It's one of those things where you're warned about it, but you don't know until you know. And it's just it's a very real. And if you've competed in other sports, you've probably experienced it. If it's been a few years, like it was for me, from college to competing when I was 40 for my first time with kettlebells. Yeah, it was a harsh reminder that the bell always wins.
Absolutely. And yeah, you do nothing that you didn't do in your training. You do not change your breathing patterns. You do not change your tempo. Okay, like you will, like if you are if you were training for like 7, 8 per minute, you won't hit 10. All right, it won't happen. So don't buy into it. Okay, and this is why the clock is crucial, because like you need to remind yourself. And one other thing, and I made this mistake. It's my turn. Like if you want to rank and you're having a goal, and you should check on the ranking tables, you must see the protocols, what's the ranks, what the numbers. Don't remember it before your flight. All right, you need like notification in your mobile phone. Recheck the number that you need to meet. And it happened to me in my snatch marathon in the world champion. I was sure it was 163 to have a candidate of Master of Sport, I believe, and it was 167 or something. Like I've missed it by 3-4 lousy reps, because I was stupid enough, and it's not, it wasn't arrogant. It was COVID, it was everything, but I just relied on my memory, and I said, yeah, I remember it's 163, and I made it. Like I went a little bit over, but I've missed it just by 4 repetitions that I had. Okay, like, and this was a lesson for life. And today I've submitted another test, and I've like yesterday and today I rechecked it again and again that I have the 75 reps to meet if I want to have rank 1, right? Like said, okay, 75. So everything like went around this, and I've pushed to it. And so please check your goals, check your numbers, okay? Don't rely on the memory, because in the D-Day, when you're like around and people suddenly talking to you and somebody approaches you and like, hi, and like, I saw you, I know you, or whatever, or you seeing somebody that you only see on IGN, like suddenly it's live and you're like, wow, like it's an experience. Everything is like it's like a reboot, okay? You are empty. Okay, so before a flight, have this like, the pre-flight checklist, okay? I like need my chalk, need my bathroom, by the way, all right? Don't forget, because sometimes you messed it up and you're done. All right, unlike in triathlon, you cannot piss on yourself on the platform. Okay, they will disqualify you.
Right.
All right, in triathlon on the bike, nobody cares, but there is, it won't work, and it will fail you. And like, oh, and like I messed up again. Camera, you sometimes forget to turn the camera because you're like, okay, so everything, this pre-flight, okay, turn the camera, let it run for another 5 minutes. You have enough memory, all right, for 10-minute set. You have enough memory for 1 hour. Come on, right? So all of these things take to consideration. And like lastly, to really wrap up, I want to like quick story about psychological benefits of it. When you're signing up for events, and I'm talking about events, you are really exposing yourself. Right, this is the really you being naked there, and it is scary and it is painful, but this is the true experience, like in life. Because when you do it in the comfortable zone in your gym, you are never striving. So true story. Today, I shared it with Levi before we hit record. I submitted my set 5 weeks after I did California Open snatch. I said, all right, you know what, I want you, let's see what will happen. And I signed up for double long cycle 220s. Again, my coach led me. It was very beautiful experience. And I said, all right, I want to aim for 75 because it's rank 1. Like I can handle it. It's within me. And today I've submitted online in my gym. And as I told you, I changed nothing. Not the music, I tweaked nothing. I came as it is because as a live event, and I don't redo my submissions because I behave as if it's a real platform. I cannot go again. Okay, this is what I have. So today's submission is the only submission, although I can reshoot it. All right, so same morning, 8, like everything was the same. And I went 8 a minute, which I was practicing for. So it was a grind, but it was doable. And somehow something happened. Again, and I was nervous because it's submission, it's the camera, and like you are nervous. This is real, even if it's your own gym. Okay, this the Arnold behind me, so I know this place. And still, somehow I missed count, and I've counted. Like I did 6 RPMs instead of 8 or 7, and I've counted my set 5 times today. And like I was sure that I hit 84, 83 reps. Like I sped up in the last minute. I gave 11 RPM, like 11 repetitions, minute 10. Like I was really, like I said, wow, like I like really like pushed. And eventually I've counted, I said like, no way I've missed 10 repetitions, but I did. And the pain is real. Like I am like really, don't believe my smiling. Yeah. I'm really down because I really was sure that I've gave it and I've made it. And here's the reality, because these things happen too. And if it wasn't for submission, I wouldn't care. Like, all right, I did what I did. I did 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, and that's it. And you continue. But when it's submission, where you're exposing yourself, and nobody will judge me, nobody will point fingers at me like, yeah, you lose. No, no, no. It becomes your personal issue of growth, thinking, I can do more, I will strive for more. And again, effortlessly, merely by being there, by signing up to these live events, you will strive to be a little bit more. And this is better every day that we, this is the true better than my yesterday self. Because again, you're lifting in your gym like a tree that falls in the woods. Nobody sees, nobody cares. You don't care. I did 60, I did 80, I did 100. I don't care. But suddenly you do 99 and your wall falls apart because like what? Why? Like I had it. So. And this is something, again, transformative to life, 1-to-1 ratio. Okay, you feel it, and the pain and the fear, the real fear, and especially for the kids and for the teens today that are so afraid to fail, they don't even try. All right, so the best discipline, the best growth factor is, in a nice way, make them experience understanding that nothing happens whilst world is not falling apart, people cheering for you and saying you congratulations, you give your best and everything, but something within you, like a parent, gently, lovingly, okay, like very humiliatively, but it like raises you up, saying, you know what, you deserve more, you can do more. Okay, let's try a little bit harder. Let's be a little bit more precise with the nutrition, as you talked about. Let's go to sleep a little bit, okay? And then it transmits me to homework, to whatever ethic that is around, because you're experiencing it viscerally, all right? Like shit, I've just missed 10 reps that I had. And this is the more, like painful stuff, okay? Because I had them. But again, this is life, all right? And this is as real as life gets. It's not my fault, but nobody counted for me, all right? So this is the last, I believe, piece of a puzzle about this event or competition signing up. And I believe it's a wrap. We've covered and we've completed kind of this part.
Yeah,
perfect.
Good.
Yep. So thank you very much for all of you for staying with us. It was a pleasure. We'll be seeing you next week. And by next week, we will think about something spicy and nice to talk about, as usual. So thank you very much. You have a beautiful life, beautiful weekend. I believe we're approaching too. And we'll train safe and smart. Again, we are available for your questions. All right. Please reach out. It won't cost you money. At least on my behalf, I can promise you. All right. I'm not charging for questions. Okay. So please ask. Sometimes one sentence can, like save you months and save you a lot of, money, whatever. So do throw subjects on us, and we'll be seeing you in the next week. Thank you very much. And thank you, Levi, again.
See you, Coach.
Thank you. See you, people.